G'day and welcome to the latest episode where we're joined by Wagners Managing Director Cameron Coleman. Cam has been with the business some 30 years, starting from the ground up as a diesel mechanic. We talk on a number of different items within the podcast. It's a brief one, which is nice and punchy for Christmas to listen on the road. But in particular, when we talk about the Brisbane 2032 Olympics, the big build infrastructure boom in Queensland that's expected. Obviously, they're based in Toowoomba in South Queensland, but he intimates that there's much more on the horizon in a nearer time frame, particularly in terms of the CFT division, which is the composite fibre technology, which is replacing the ageing infrastructure and wooden power poles with their fiberglass power poles, and also the cross arms that sit on top of those, which is growing at the rate of knots. We hope you enjoy. Thanks. Cam, welcome to the Vantage Point podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Simon. It's a pleasure to be here, mate.
We are just about 27 minutes before our Christmas party, so you've rolled in timely fashion, which is good to see.
Yep.
It's been a big year for Wagners, but before we get stuck into that, just run us through. Obviously, you've had a couple of years in the business, to put it lightly, but just give us obviously the Wagner brothers story, Toowoomba out of Queensland, and your involvement to date.
Yep, will do. So I've been with the business now nearly a bit over 30 years and worked with the four Wagner brothers and their mum and dad at times over that period. The four brothers have built a fantastic business over that time and worked really, really hard together to achieve what Wagners is today, and I think have provided a lot of people like myself opportunity along the way. And
just zeroing in on, started 30 odd years ago. I'm assuming you weren't CEO when you joined. Where have you come from?
Simon, I started as an apprentice diesel fitter. So nice. I was fixing loaders and trucks and
on the ground, on the
tools. Yep,
I like it.
In our workshop.
And so just for the listeners and viewers, in terms of business segments, can you just give us a bit of a high level run through of those before we get stuck in?
We report on three segments now. We have our construction materials business centred in southeast Queensland, which is I guess the cement business is the jewel in the crown there at the moment, and then vertically integrated model in southeast Queensland with concrete, quarries, all of the necessary haulage you need to move those materials, reinforcing steel, precast fits in our project services. But southeast Queensland really is cement, concrete, quarries, and reinforcing steel, and then the haulage business that supports all that.
That's the trucking and whatnot.
Yep. And then the next segment we sort of report on is project services, which takes those skills and expertise we learned in that business and provides them on a remote basis. So we do a lot of bulk haulage for some key clients like Glencore and other sort of great customers that we have out there. And that spans from central Queensland through up to Cloncurry, Mount Isa, and then up into the Northern Territory. And that sector also includes our contract crushing business, where we take our crushing plants to sites for infrastructure projects, and also mobile concrete batch plants and precast.
And in terms of sort of revenue or the profit split amongst those sort of three segments, how does that look?
Well, the third segment is CFT, our composites business.
Yep. Which is what everyone's excited about.
Yeah, and it's growing really, really rapidly, which is fantastic. So CFT and project services are less than 50% of the overall group revenue.
Yep.
And the bulk of the work's done in the southeast Queensland construction materials. But CFT and project services speak for almost 50% of the revenue, I guess, a bit less.
And in terms of CFT, what does it stand for and what actually is it?
It's a fiberglass structural product that we manufacture in Toowoomba, and it stands for Composite Fibre Technologies, is what we call the business.
Yep.
And we have three main revenue streams there. Two of them come out of the electrical distribution network, which is power poles, cross arms.
Yep.
So the traditional power pole you see, a
Splintering.
wooden one,
Yep.
we make a fiberglass replacement for that. And then we put a fiberglass cross arm on the top, which holds the wires up, the electrical wires. And then we also build a lot of pedestrian infrastructure out of our composites product as well.
And in terms of the, obviously based in Toowoomba, Queensland. The growth or expected growth, obviously, that's going to come as a part of the 2032 Olympics and the sort of broader infrastructure spend. How does, I'm assuming you're pretty excited internally in terms of the build ahead and what it means for Wagners.
Yeah, look, we're pretty excited about the business today. Actually, it's performing well. We're in a good space, and then as we look ahead, the Olympic build is going to be quite significant for Southeast Queensland. So it's going to get, in our opinion, the construction materials business is going to get pretty hot up there in Southeast Queensland, and we're excited about the opportunity that presents us.
Yep.
And for that reason, we're really, really busy expanding our concrete plant network.
Yep. And in terms of you've recently raised some cash. Can you just talk to us, in terms of why? Where's that going in terms of use of funds?
We raised forward? 30 million, and about a third of that's going into our composites business to cater for growth in the power pole market.
So how long's that been around?
Only about 18 months, and to we really only got cracking on it about a year ago, and it's growing rapidly, and we need to build we need to double our production capacity in Toowoomba to cater for the Australia, New Zealand power pole market, and for that reason, a third of the capital we raised will go to that.
Yep.
And the other 20 million will go to our concrete plant network, where we want to build a number of other concrete plants across Southeast Queensland to service quite a large emerging market that we see there.
And in terms of CFT, obviously that's come out of the R&D arm, if you call it, out of the company. How do you sort of look at R&D going forward? In terms of innovative products and whatnot.
We look at it very, very closely, and we spend a lot of money on it. We spend in excess of $1 million a year on R&D. We don't capitalise that; just go straight to the bottom line. And those guys that work in our R&D team are doing a number of things. They're working on increasing our efficiencies out of our existing machines and looking at new products. So the power poles is our most recent product we've released to market very successfully, and they're working on what other products we can manufacture and service new markets with our composite materials.
And in terms of CFT, why is it so successful? What's the sort of competitive moat in terms of why you're winning?
I think it depends which market, but in the pedestrian infrastructure market, it's lightweight, it's non-corrosive, so it doesn't rust, it doesn't rot like timber.
Yep.
So in a marine boardwalk environment, it just wins hands down because of its whole of life value that it represents to an asset owner. In the electrical industry, hardwood timber is getting harder and harder to get, and we're seeing that people are wanting that hardwood timber for housing and timber floorboards in homes and things like that. That's a much higher end value. So to make a power pole out of hardwood timber seems a bit of a waste in this day and age. So our composite pole is becoming very, very popular among the distribution networks.
And in terms of globally applicable, how does that look?
We've got a CFT business or a composites business over in Texas, USA, and we see in time that the power pole and crossarm markets in the US are a really, really sort of attractive market for our products. I would have thought
that'd be multiples, obviously.
We kind of think about it and think, we'll build one machine and send it over there, and one machine can generate roughly 6,000 poles.
Yep.
The pole market over there is just
nuts.
Yep, huge.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we're conservative, so we're going to build one, send it there,
crawl, walk, run.
Yep. Part of the capital raise was to build one machine for the US, so that's heading over there, and we hope we'll have that commissioned within 12 months.
Yeah, nice.
And the concern is it'll be sold out within 3 months, but let's hope so.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And in terms of the grid electrification sort of thematic and the current sales at the moment, how does that look versus the total market opportunity? You well penetrated there so far, or
no, we're just at the tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah.
We've got one major customer in New South Wales, and we've got another customer in Queensland, and we see huge demand for all of our customers that buy our crossarms understand our product and the whole of life benefit of our product. So we sell crossarms into all states of Australia and into New Zealand, and there's, in my opinion, no reason all of those clients won't buy our poles as well.
And so we talked about US. I suppose one thing that I've heard you talk about, and I've seen it sort of firsthand over the years, is your business. The Wagners family are obviously still deeply involved. Significant shareholders, on the board. It's been successful, I think, for a number of different reasons. Obviously, good execution, but you haven't operated to the share market, I think, is probably fair to say, in that you've taken a long-term view.
Rightly or wrongly, and I think rightly, we still do operate this business like a family-run business, and we're very, very cautious and conservative with our capital deployment. And it's got to provide a return to the shareholders, as the Wagner family have done and proven to be successful for many, many years. There's some long-term investments that we want to make that won't provide a return immediately, but
strategic.
It is still, all of our employees are very, very valuable to us, and we still operate the business with those same values we have for many, many years.
And if we, just in terms of the employee base, how many employees do you have at the moment?
Just short of 800 at the moment.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Solid so how many of them would be in Toowoomba?
There's only about 220 of that in Toowoomba. So the business has expanded. There's a lot of people in our bulk haulage business up in the northwest Minerals province, and then Brisbane is pretty much where the action is otherwise.
And in terms of what are you most excited about looking forward? I'm assuming it's sort of CFT.
Yeah, CFT's the big opportunity for us, and then the growth in our southeast Queensland construction materials. Both those areas have got a lot of opportunity, but the other part of our business that's currently doing nothing is our precast business, and it does some really, really cool work at times, like large projects like the Sydney Metro Tunnel. Right, we did the last 2 tunnels that have been built in Brisbane. And, when you turn that business on when the right project's there, and the Olympics will provide these opportunities, it can pump out some significant revenue. So it's a huge opportunity for us.
And in terms of how long have you been CEO of Wagner?
2012, I kicked off as CEO, so it's a while ago.
14 years come out. How do you sort of see you've changed as a CEO over the journey?
I changed a lot when we listed the business. Went through a school of hard knocks there for about 3 years. But look, it's been a great journey for me to go from a mechanic through to a CEO of an ASX-listed company. It's been a journey, and I've certainly faced a few challenges along the way. I often get up when I'm going to do a investor presentation, look in the mirror, and think, "What are you doing, mate?" But anyway,
here you are as a CEO of a $700 million company. Things can change pretty quickly when you execute as a team.
And I love getting to our apprentices and the people in our business that are starting off in their life. And
how important is that in terms of the culture?
Well, our whole business revolves around our people. We've got nothing without people. So our people are the most important part of our business.
You've done extremely well, Cam. Well done. It's been a pleasure to watch you along on the sidelines, and good luck for the future. I loved your answer around, don't worry about 2032. The business is motoring now. You don't have to wait 5 or 7 years.
The Olympics are just a bit of a nice blip to have on our journey ahead. So
bring it on, and Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas, Simon, and thanks for your support.
Pleasure.